Halls of Torment. What is that? Are we live? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I kind of knew from the beginning that we had something special. It's just one of those things, you know. It's really hard to describe. You think you've seen it all. You think you've done it all. You think you've been in love before until something comes along and they just change you completely. I'm sorry, I'm just really happy right now. I don't know. Yeah, things are great between us. It's all I've been doing the past, I don't know, 3 weeks. I seem to be losing track of time even. It's just, it's quite unbelievable, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Babe? I mean, yeah, I guess you could say things are going pretty well. It's gotten pretty serious now, and I don't know. What? You want to go back? You want to go back in there? We just got done in there. We're doing an interview. You were in there for like 2 hours. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say no. Let's go. Let's have some more fun. I'm up for another round. Come on. Oh, sorry. Do I just hand this to you guys, or do we just? Yeah, I'll leave it here. Yep. Babe, come on. Ah, yes. Thinking back to the day that I first discovered Halls of Torment with joy and admiration, and nothing's really changed. Similar to Vampire Survivors, this game costs a whopping, I don't know, $5 or something. Hey developers, charge more money. We will gladly pay it. Anyways, Halls of Torment is like the Dark Souls version of Vampire Survivors. By the way, I fucking hate when people say that so-and-so is the Dark Souls version of its genre. Blasphemous is like the Dark Souls of Hollow Knight. Remnant, it's like the Dark Souls of Borderlands. Jaws, it's like the Dark Souls of Shark Tale. But in this case, it's the best way I can describe it. Unlike Vampire Survivors, Halls of Torment has a much darker, grim tone, and you move the mouse in the direction you want to attack, along with moving using the keyboard. These are probably the main changes that you notice right off of the bat. Well, that, and there are no bats, not until level 3. Oh, and the music, of course. Not that the music is particularly bad, it's just much harder to dance to. With those obvious comparisons out of the way, Halls of Torment well and truly stands out on its own in this roguelike genre. Starting off, you have just one character choice, which is the swordsman, who attacks in a small cone in the direction that he's facing. Being very well rounded, this is a great starting class, but just as most roguelikes, not having any of the abilities or items unlocked means that your first run is most likely not going to go very far. Mondays, am I right? Probably the most satisfying thing about this game, though, is the peaceful sound of decimating waves of skeletons. I could definitely see myself putting this on in the background to fall asleep to. Case closed. Is that a fucking cow? There are currently 7 characters total in Halls of Torment, and the reason I say currently is because the game is still in early development.
This game sucks.
Whoa, relax, you'll still get your money's worth. Look, the new update is set to come out shortly, and even without that, there's 7 characters, tons of achievements, and items to unlock, along with 3 different levels to choose from. You unlock characters by completing certain objectives, blah blah blah, you've all seen this before. After surviving for 4 minutes with the swordsman, you will unlock the greatest class in video game history, aka the archer. Hey, I like glass cannons, okay? Killing 1,000 enemies in one run, you'll unlock the exterminator.
Oh, we've got to get out of here.
Hey man, we've been through this.
I know, but
You're not the Terminator anymore. You're the ex-Terminator. You have to leave.
I'll get to the chopper.
Just go. You also get a sorceress, a cleric, a warlock, and a shield maiden. Each class has their own strengths and weaknesses, as you'd expect, and some are highly dependent on which upgrade route that you go. For example, the first time I used the warlock, I thought it was the most useless character of all time, since each summon does very little damage and it's quite slow. However, after getting a few items and upgrades to enhance my summons, the warlock became the first character that I could actually AFK and still complete the level. The Shield Maiden's attack scales with block, which makes her a defensive powerhouse, and the cleric spreads damage evenly across every enemy. At the time of making this video, there is a beta in the process which has even more content and a new character, which is the Norseman. I haven't yet tried him out myself, but he seems kind of full of himself, really. A bit of a narcissist. Narcissist. Full of himself, like narcissist. But Halls of Torment was created by Chasing Carrots, a German indie game company responsible for games such as Good Company, Pressure Overdrive, Cosmonautica, and everyone's favorite, Heart of Scrap. I've literally never heard of any of these games, actually. Either way, Chasing Carrots self-funds all of their games, which is pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to more from this company after seeing what they are capable of with Halls of Torment. Back to the game. In typical roguelike fashion, you will earn experience throughout each playthrough, which will then let you select an upgrade upon leveling. Some will increase defense or health regeneration, others can increase attack speed or numbers of hits/projectiles. Then, depending on what class you select, some selections will give you bonus increases specific to your class. Some will even have multiple stat increases in one. Throughout the level, you will find these flag or ticket type things that will allow you to add additional attacks from a group of 3. These will either be found randomly on the map or after defeating an elite monster. Once you've added an ability using one of these tickets, they will then begin to show up on the level up menu where you can level them further. After leveling, you can then use a ticket to possibly modify that weapon even more with either additional projectiles, added damage effects, or changing the attack altogether. For instance, my favorite ability is the Transfixion attack, which shoots multiple projectiles in front of your character, which can also make enemies fragile or take more damage. However, once upgrading this skill, you can add projectile shots behind or to the side if you upgrade it 3 times, which can also apply slow and damage over time. Additionally, you can also manipulate the menu throughout your level ups by using potions, which can either re-roll all of the options, banish altogether, save options to be selected later, or even double the effects of a chosen upgrade. This means that the more potions you unlock, then the more control you will have over each build when you begin a new session. You do have to unlock these potions throughout the game first by unlocking the side quests, but later on you will retrieve potions from the maps in the same way that you do with items, which we will talk about next. In Halls of Torment, you will sometimes find items after defeating elite enemies in which you can allocate to one of your equipment slots on your character. The items will disappear once you die or finish the run, unless you take them to the well to return to the surface, where you can purchase it to use permanently later. This is a cool mechanic that limits you in the amount of resources that you can take back with you to the surface. It means you will need to run through the game multiple times to unlock more and more items. Just another layer added on top of the classic roguelike formula.
Me like it.
The well is also part of a side quest in which you must first unlock, but I won't get into the side quests too much. There are a few quests like these that once completed will allow you to access more content and more control of your subsequent playthroughs though. The achievement system is very similar to Vampire Survivors, and one of the reasons I found myself wanting to try out all the different characters. Some require you to be a specific character in a specific level while using specific skills that I would otherwise completely skip over. Well done, Chasing Carrots. Lastly, once you manage to survive a level for 30 minutes, you will then be met with a boss, and holy shit were they tough the first time I ran into one. Obviously it gets easier the more items and characters you unlock, but that feeling you get when you first run into one of these guys is pretty damn epic. There's even a hidden boss which I managed to run into on my second playthrough, and apparently I was the first in the world ever to see him. man, you guys fall for that shit every time. Overall, I'm going to highly recommend that you go and play Halls of Torment, even though it's still in early access. You can also play the beta now, which does have more content than what's been even showed in this video. I just can't help but give this game a solid 8 watermelons out of 10. Well, like the Dark Souls version of an 8 out of 10. You get it because earlier I was complaining that people use, oh, this is the Dark Souls version of, mate, if you have to explain your joke, it's not funny. Guess you can just check out some of my other favorite roguelikes here. After leveling